Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Planet X News. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wait a few minutes before I get into our main topic. And that topic is going to be the purging of social media. You know, folks, over the last, let's just say the last couple of months, I have been talking quite frequently about what will happen. Just the other day, I mentioned the same thing. I told you that whenever they start attacking social media, that's going to be a huge, huge warning sign. Now, I'm going to have to be very careful what I say during this live stream, but if you just hold on for just 1 second, let me go ahead and bring up the live chat real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me turn off all my sound here. Okay. And listen, folks, you know, this purging of social media, this began about 48 hours ago. And I had a feeling after the incident in Florida, which, again, folks, I'm going to have to be very careful with my words. So try to read between the lines about what I'm saying. When I saw the event occur in Florida, I knew for a fact that all hell was going to break loose on social media. I knew that millions of people, millions, would take to social media with their own opinions. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, in this country, the United States of America, we have a right to free speech. But I guess that right of free speech is being chipped away at. It's being thrown in the garbage. Your civil rights are going out the door. I've mentioned this over the past year. And each and every time one of these events occurs, they're getting closer and closer and closer to taking your rights away. For all of you that are listening to me now, you are truly awake. But we have billions and billions of people on this planet that are, as we say, still asleep. Now, over the course of the last 24 hours, I've gotten notifications, emails and messages and phone calls from a lot of people that, I keep in touch with on YouTube and Facebook. And they're being attacked. They're not being attacked by the little scumbag trolls that we battle around with. They're being attacked by some of the largest corporations in this country. And we're just gonna go ahead and use initials for their names. So we'll call Twitter TW, we'll call Facebook FB, and we'll call YouTube YT. Because they're going to listen to everything that I say. They're going to watch very closely with all of their algorithms in place. They're going to watch everything that you post, and you will be targeted. That is a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. It is a guarantee. The other day, whenever I posted the picture that is on your screen right now, I didn't just put this up there to, post something on my Facebook pages. The reason why I put this up there was to make all of you think and make all of you aware of what is happening. A lot of you may not be as vocal as I am, but I have heard from quite a few people. I can't even count how many people already over the past 48 hours that have had their Facebook accounts terminated or suspended. Now, the reason why Facebook suspended my personal Facebook page, not even the Planet X News. They suspended my personal Facebook page because I shared a post about what occurred down south. And the post that I shared was pertaining to CNN, the crap news network. And that was pertaining to a Fox report, an interview that was done with one of these students that was supposed to be invited to this big town hall meeting. And CNN scripted all of the information that he was supposed to talk about. And after they scripted the information, he said, "No way, I'm not standing up in front of all of these people and reading your narrative." That is what I shared. That is what pissed off Facebook. And that is the reason why they suspended my account. And that is absolutely ridiculous. So folks, in all actuality, I didn't create the post. I shared that post. That's it. All of the other posts that I had up on my personal Facebook page, they were all left alone. Every single one of them. Even posts that I created myself, similar to the one that you see here, based on information that I was investigating. At this point in time, folks, this doesn't have anything to do what's going on in our solar system. This has nothing to do with Planet X. However, we can clearly see what is happening to this planet right now. Just based on the current weather conditions, the massive amount of flooding that is already occurring here in the United States and abroad and in other countries. We have a huge deep freeze right now in Western and Eastern Europe. Parts of the United States are having late spring and summertime temperatures. Massive amounts of flooding in Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and all over Canada. I saw some absolutely horrific flooding videos and photographs coming in from Ontario, Toronto, and Ottawa. Remember, folks, I've been telling you, when they come after social media, we're in big trouble. We are in big trouble. Because this is the only way that we communicate with each other worldwide. I'm sure all of you understand that. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't sit here every day and investigate and do the research that I do just to pass the time away. I truly love the earth that I live on. I don't want to be an astronaut. I don't want to go and live on the moon. I don't want to live in outer space. I don't want to live on Mars. I want to live right here on the earth that God gave us. And it is slowly, well, let's rephrase that. It is quickly being taken away from us every tick of the clock. It's very, very scary what is occurring and what is happening. There are things behind the scenes that the powers that be they're conducting and we know nothing about. And these major corporations, such as Google and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, they can do whatever they want. They're some of the biggest and most powerful and wealthiest corporations on this planet. And if they choose to terminate your Facebook account or your YouTube channel or your Twitter account, they have the right to do so. They don't have to warn you. They don't even owe you an explanation because they're private corporations and the government has their hand right inside of their pocket. So I could already see what is occurring. There were many mistakes made in South Florida. Very smart and intelligent people worldwide immediately caught on to all of these mistakes. And you can see clearly in the media, hour by hour, how they're trying to cover all of this up and make excuses for the damage that they have done. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sit here and say that nobody in South Florida died, because I can't confirm that. But it's just like every other false flag. As time goes by, we forget about it because the mainstream media comes up with something else, and then our attention gets centered on that. Take Vegas, for instance. People were all over the situation that occurred in Las Vegas. They called all of us conspiracy nuts. But yet, all of the evidence that compiled on our end, it all added up. And then, everybody forgot about it. All of the problems with government take over mainstream media. That's all that you hear. That's all that they want you to hear because they want your attention on that. You know, folks, this is what they're proposing. This is what they are trying to do right now. And it makes absolutely no sense. Once again, we have the big gun grab in this country. They do it in kind of a soft way. They talk about gun legislation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not going to help. That's not the answer. Because these situations that are occurring, I personally don't believe that the individuals that are accused of doing these horrible things, I honestly don't think that they are willingly doing these things, if they're even being done at all. That's the sad part. Because we can't even tell if this is the real deal or somebody's trying to fake us out. They're poking at your heart. Excuse me. They're poking at your heart by using children. That's why, over time, you continually see these so-called events at schools. Because when things happen to children, it digs at your heart. It immediately makes you sad. And then you go on guard. And then you worry about your own children. See, ladies and gentlemen, that's why they call these events PSYOPs, psychological operations. And again, I'm not going to be the one to stand here and say that nobody lost their lives in Florida. But there is entirely too much evidence piling up once again that there's a high possibility that this was a major false flag. We may be able to prove some things, but the governments are too powerful for us. And all they want to do is divide and conquer. So one of the stupidest things that I've heard in the last 24 hours is tougher gun laws and putting armed guards, armed military personnel, armed teachers in the schools. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need that type of situation in the schools in this country or any country. We never had this threat of violence when I was in school. You never heard about anything like this. There were some isolated instances in the 70s. I think it was like Kent University, some nutcase, perched up in a tower somewhere, shot a few college students. And, we see situations pop up with JFK, Martin Luther King. We constantly see a patsy being blamed for covert operations that are conducted by the government, not by crazed individuals. There is entirely too much evidence out there backing all of this up. It's very horrible what's happening to this world. And me, as a United States citizen, I'm pretty ashamed at what our government has become. Even though the majority of our forefathers were Freemasons, I truly don't believe that they wanted this country to turn out like it is. But because of greed and power, well, folks, they just cover everything up. Everything out there is meant to be a distraction. I want to tell all of you something right now. For all of you, and I'm a victim of it also, but for all of you that click on those little apps on Facebook where they utilize your picture, to make you look older or to make you look younger or to make you look like a movie star. Whenever you click on that, I believe that they're utilizing your images for facial recognition later on. For all of you that have seen those commercials on TV talking about your ancestry, put that swab in your mouth and send us your DNA and we'll tell you where you're from. Ladies and gentlemen, me personally, I think that's DNA harvesting for something these diabolical nutcases are going to do in the future, if not doing it already. So I have a way around this suspension for the next 30 days. And that is a suspension of my personal Facebook account. I have a lot of people, I think maybe 1,100, 1,200, maybe 1,300 people that keep in touch with me on my personal Facebook page. We have over 18,000 people that follow Planet X News. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I woke up at 5 a.m. I looked at the Planet X News Facebook page, and I noticed one of these things popped up on my Planet X News Facebook page, and it was to invite people to like my page. But the fact of the matter is, when I started strolling through all of these names, and there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them to invite to like the Planet X News Facebook page, these people were already following Planet X News. So, just like YouTube has done, they have unsubscribed you. Now, Facebook has gone on and unfollowed probably a very large portion of you. So you will literally have to go back to Planet X News on Facebook, click on the follow button, and when the drop-down menu comes down, you're either going to see my notifications show up in your news feed as a default, or you want them to show up first. My recommendation is to click on first, because you don't know when that information is going to get buried in your news feed. And I receive hundreds and hundreds of messages a day. There is at least 10 to 15,000 people every single minute of the day, 24 hours a day, on the Planet X News Facebook page, because I get all of those statistics and those analytics. But we're moving into a very, very spooky situation. There have been some very prominent people that have lost their Twitter accounts, that have lost their YouTube channels, that have lost their Facebook pages, completely terminated. No reason given. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, it does take a tremendous amount of work to grow a YouTube channel and your subscriber base. The same applies for your Facebook page, your organizational page. But I knew this was going to happen. If you think about my words from the past, I said, when they come after social media, we are in trouble. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason why they're going to come after social media at this time is because there are millions and millions of smart people just like you that are able to define what is truth and what is complete and utter bullshit. And everything that they're showing on the news, it's like all a lie. It's like we're living in this matrix. They're controlling everything. They're pushing the buttons, and those buttons are the heart and soul of each and every one of you. So they literally want you to believe that the situation in Florida happened just as they said. I don't think that is the case, ladies and gentlemen. But it's too late. If anybody passed away in that event, it's too late. We can't do anything about it. You know, my son and my daughter, they went to school not too far away from Parkland. They moved from North Miami Beach to Sunrise, which is west of Fort Lauderdale. Not too far, just outside of the Fort Lauderdale city limits. Parkland is not too far away. And both of my kids, my son's already in college at FSU. My daughter's going to be graduating this upcoming year. But I did catch myself with very high anxiety when that was announced on the news about what was happening there. But I immediately knew that something didn't smell right. I don't think that this kid that they're accusing, I don't think he was meant to live. And his younger brother, they've already Baker acted him and placed him in a mental institution to shut him up, to quiet him immediately. Everything that's coming out, it's coming out on social media. The social media investigators, each and every one of you. You all have that keen eye. You know when somebody is filling your mind with complete BS. The timeline of events doesn't even make sense. The videotaping from cell phones inside of the school don't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. You can take this all the way back through each and every one of these events, folks. They don't add up. Nothing adds up. And it never will. Because this is exactly what they want to do. The first thing that this government has to do, whether it be the real government, the shadow government, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, there's somebody else pulling the strings. There's somebody else putting these things together. Maybe the president knows about it. Maybe he doesn't. We'll never know. We will never, ever know the truth. But yet they want you to go to work every day. They want you to pay your taxes. And they want you to shut up. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want to think for you. We're in a very, very critical and volatile situation, not only in this country, but in just about every single country on this planet. I knew this was going to happen. I was just, kicking back and watching it play out. Personally, I don't care about my Facebook page being suspended. That's fine. I shared one post from Fox concerning CNN. And that's why my account was suspended. Because I shared a report from Fox News about CNN scripting what they wanted a young man to say about what occurred in South Florida. He was a student who actually, as they say, helped save some people. I would only hope and pray to God that nobody actually lost their lives in that school. I would actually hope and pray that it was all just a psyop. I don't think that boy had the brains or even the organizational skills to carry something like this out. For God's sakes, some of our local police departments in this country, and some of the justice departments within the government, they can't even carry out raids properly. We hear about it all the time where they're raiding the wrong house. And these are supposed to be trained professionals. So what makes you think that this young man that they're accusing of doing this, what makes you think that he was able to put this all together? I don't even think he was supposed to live. Something went wrong. Something truly went wrong. And now they scramble to cover everything up. It's just like NASA. NASA lets something go in the ISS footage or, on one of their websites, Stereo, Soho, Cactus, whatever. And we capture it. Well, with the power of social media and the internet, we get the information out there worldwide. Well, what's the first place that you're going to go to stop all of that? You are going to purge social media. And that is what you are seeing right now. A lot of you may have already been victims of this. There may be a lot of you that will be victims of this very soon, within the hour, within the day, within the week. But it's coming. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing that we can do about this. No matter how much you complain about your channel being deleted or terminated or your Facebook page being suspended, it doesn't matter how much you complain, because those complaints are falling on deaf ears, because those people behind these algorithms and within these companies are doing what they're told to do. I've been watching very, very carefully and very closely to what's been going on. And I see all of it escalating very quickly. And it is a shame that your freedom of speech is disappearing. Your right to protect yourself and your family is being taken away. But yet, news media companies, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, the BBC, the CBC, the whole alphabet soup gang of news media, they can say and do whatever they want. They can put it up on social media without any fear of reprisal from these big social media corporations. But if I do it, or you do it, they will purge you from the system. They will silence you because they do have that power. And according to their little rules and regulations that none of us read the fine print. They can do whatever they want. They don't owe you an explanation. So we do take that for granted. Social media was never like that before, but when all of these events occur, people take to social media now. And the word spreads around the world within seconds. And billions of people are now looking at what happened. And they are also looking at other people's opinions. What other people think. And over the course of the last 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, I have seen people that we call truthers. I have seen the numbers within this truth community grow at a rapid pace. And that is probably something that the powers that be really didn't think about, because they get sloppy, and intelligent people like all of us, we catch on to it. And we only use the tools that we have. And those tools are the social media accounts that we possess. And now, on this day, they're coming after all of them. Just before I went on the air, I got word that another very large truth community partner, he woke up this morning and they totally annihilated his Twitter account, his Facebook account, and terminated his YouTube channel. All three. Boom. 3 strikes. You're out. You're gone. You know, folks, and it's not like we have a hotline to each and every one of you where I could tell you what just happened. I had to kind of go around some corners this morning to get where I'm at right now. But see, I already pre-planned for this because I knew it was coming. And I have been mentioning it constantly for the last 6 months. I've also been mentioning to each and every one of you about our weather conditions and what is happening to this planet and what is happening out there in our inner solar system. See, they don't like people like me. I'll be quite honest. There are days that I wake up and I pinch myself on the cheek to make sure I'm actually still alive. There are days that I leave my house and I'm worried about starting my car. Last year, I even went out and bought a remote starter for my vehicle so I can start my car from a distance. It's just, it is what it is. You know, they don't want you to think for yourself anymore. They don't want your mind to grow and expand. They want you to just shut up and do what you're told. Go on with your daily life. Stay out of this business. Don't worry about what we're doing. We're the government. But they're making big mistakes, folks. Big mistakes. And I'm not the only one who sees it. There are millions and millions of other people that are seeing what is happening. We will never ever be able to gain more control. We're actually going to lose the little bit of control that we have on our own lives. And that is truly scary. We're getting to the point, well, let's just say we are already at the point where, they've infiltrated our food supply. They've infiltrated the air that we breathe, the information that we see and hear. It's like we're living in this matrix that they have developed. It is truly scary. I've mentioned before, and time again, that banding together as a people, banding together as a group of people, utilizing the information that we have coming in from different sources and sharing it as long as we can. I just said that the other day because I felt it deep down in my heart that sooner or later they are going to go after social media hardcore. And that is exactly what they did. I'm very surprised that they did not even terminate my personal Facebook page. I absolutely did not violate any of their policies. So, why did they not terminate Fox News and CNN and NBC and CBS and the BBC and the CBC? Why did they not terminate those accounts? Why? Big money. Big corporations are not going to be touched. But it's the little guys, the little people, like each and every one of us, who get stepped on and kicked in the teeth. Even though we are more intelligent and smarter, but we're not evil. Each and every one of us has a heart and a soul, and they want to take it because they truly know that this planet is in jeopardy. Dr. Albers and I have been paying a lot of attention to what's happening with our climate. The weather has been a huge issue. I haven't been making a lot of videos or doing a lot of live streaming simply because I felt that I don't want to bore all of you on weather information. But I think that's going to have to change. I know, probably 99% of you don't want to listen to me babble about what's happening with this weather, but it is becoming very, very important each and every day. It's actually becoming a very scary situation. Some of the things that I saw occurring in Canada over the last 48 hours, very scary. My whole entire corner of southwestern Pennsylvania in the Pittsburgh area, everywhere is flooded. This flooding is going to travel all the way through the Mississippi Valley, through the Mississippi River. Every single community all the way to the Gulf of Mexico will be affected. Right now, it is raining so hard that I cannot even see out my window. And we are in the last week of February. The other day, temperatures here in southwestern Pennsylvania hit 80 degrees. 80! And then we're going to have these freaks out there telling us that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. And then you have the other idiots out there that say, oh, those aren't chemtrails in the sky. Those are contrails. But we know that is not true. All of the information over the course of the last 2 years that I have shown millions of people what is lurking out there by our sun and interacting with our sun is definitely creating a situation for our planet. We have major problems occurring right now as we speak in our North Pole. This stratospheric split of the weather system in the North Pole has now expanded and moved over all of Eastern and Western Europe. It's massive, and I'll show it to you. It is now moved into the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And then you ask yourself, okay, why is it so warm and hot in 1/3 of the country? And I'm going to show you while I have your attention. But one thing while I have your attention, folks. What will occur in the weeks and the months to come, moving into spring, the spring solstice, and then the summer solstice? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now that we are going to have one of the weirdest weather patterns this upcoming spring, March, April, and May. It's going to be critical. You are going to see more natural disasters than you've ever seen in a lifetime. And then the threat of the earthquakes and the volcanoes will still be there. But something that's going to wreak havoc will be this weather. The jet streams are completely out of whack, and they're very dangerous because they are literally causing our weather patterns to just, let's just say, freak out. And again, there's nothing that we, man and woman, we can't do anything about it, but we can learn, we can take in the information, and we could better prepare ourselves for these events. And if you have the knowledge, then it's on you to pass that knowledge to your family, your neighbor, your friends, your co-workers. Because if they can't see what's happening, then they have those blinders on. Those blinders have to come off. I still have a lot of my personal friends that, they're actually scared. They're scared to come around me. They're actually afraid to be friends with me, like we have been for the last 20, 25, 30 years. They know what I do. They don't want any part of it. But it's going to be a sad day when all hell breaks loose and they're going to just look in the mirror and say, wow, those couple of times I listened to Scott, man, he was right. Wow, I wish I would have listened to him more often. Every day, every word he says. I can't help any of that, folks. I could only get on here and give it to you as I see it. You know, and we all have our own personal opinions. We have that right so far. But apparently, you can't voice those opinions anymore on social media because the purge is now in effect. And it's going to get worse. Mark my words. Let me give you a little bit of advice, folks. Not to give in to the social media giants, but to protect yourself. Take the time today. Go back through your news feed on Facebook. Just delete all of the posts pertaining to what has occurred in Florida. All of the memes, all of the news broadcasts, get rid of it. Do your own purging. Don't let somebody else do it for you. They removed every single post, everything I shared. They removed it all. Every bit of it. I went back through my news feed and they whacked it all. So don't become a victim of theirs. Everybody out there that follows you or is friends with you on Facebook, they've already read what you've posted. But these algorithms of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, they're very sophisticated. They have the ability to learn like the human mind. And I'll just use this word. They're going to be auditing all of these social media accounts. Every single one of them that has keywords in it. So if you're using these keywords, well, you're going to become a target. And I don't want to see all of you start losing your Facebook pages or your Twitter accounts. I don't use Twitter that much, but it is what it is. So go back through your news feed, go back through your posts, and use your own judgment. But take my advice. Anything that has to do with this event in Florida, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Because we already know what the deal is. And everybody else that follows you or that is friends with you, they know the deal too. It's pretty sad. What makes me feel even worse is that I saw this coming. I talked about it, I mentioned it, but there was nothing that I could do to stop it. I just don't want to see each and every one of you become a victim of it. Facebook jail. Wow, man. Treating grown adults like criminals. We're not the criminals. The criminals are the masterminds behind the psychological operations that prey on your heart and soul. Now that all of you have gotten this message from me, I do want you to take it to heart. I would like you to take my advice. Get rid of these posts on your Facebook pages. If you have any videos up on your personal YouTube channels, get rid of them. Just Don't even take the chance. Don't share the pictures. Don't share the memes. I guess they are winning the social media game. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Let's let them win this battle. Why? Because we don't have a choice. They're going to keep on rolling out with new artificial intelligence algorithms every single day. They're very sophisticated. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who he spent many, many years in the military. And he made a statement to me that really freaked me out. You know, he's like, Scott, these hackers can hack into the Pentagon, but they can't hack into Google or YouTube because they're too powerful. They're more powerful than the United States government when it comes to this computer technology. And I could already see it and hear it now. The government telling these companies, if you want to continue to exist in this country, then you're going to help us out. And you are going to take your fancy algorithms and you are going to, once again, purge social media of the content that is being posted every minute of the day concerning what has happened, this event in Florida. The reason why is because all of us are making sense. We're picking through the BS and we're exposing the actual truth. We're exposing it at such an accelerated rate that they are losing control of that narrative that they talk about. So, get rid of the information concerning Florida. Get rid of it off of your social media accounts. Don't even talk about it anymore unless you want to take that chance. Or have a backup. But you can't tie those backup accounts, you can't tie them together with your main account. That is how sophisticated the algorithms are. Because if you have backup accounts that are tied to your main account, nope, doesn't work. You've got to go completely incognito with having this backup plan. Take the time today and, get this done, folks. I think it's very, very important. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the things that are going on right now with our jet stream. And, it's not good. It's not good at all. I'm going to show you where this weather is coming from. Now, we're looking straight down onto the North Pole. I'm going to just turn this up right here. We're going to be looking dead on at the United States. I'm going to go ahead and stop the jet stream from moving. And this is what I want to show you here. This huge part of the jet stream right here, I mean, that band is so thick, it's actually very unusual. But if you see this section of the United States right here, this is where all of the warm temperatures are occurring all through here. Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all of the Appalachian mountain area, Ohio Valley, Mississippi Valley, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, there's hundreds of rivers. Hundreds. The ground was thawed so quickly, warm temperatures came in, melted all of the snow, then it snows overnight, and then when the sun comes up in the morning, the temperatures are, way up there again, and all the snow melts. They're having huge problems up in this section of Canada. Big problems. But all of this warm air is being rushed in straight up through the entire central portion of the United States and directly over the East Coast. But yet, this section over here in the Pacific Northwest, they're getting chewed up by snowstorms and very cold temperatures. So if we just take a look at the jet stream, and I don't have it in motion, you can see this is the top of the Earth, the North Pole. You could see how far down this jet stream has sunk. This portion of the jet stream right here going across northern Africa, this is bad news. Really bad news. Once again, very critical heat wave going on in Australia. And, something that's worrying me, and I'm just going to spin this around to the United States. And let's just say, okay, this is our tilt, or 23.5 degrees tilt on our axis. Well, what would cause this stratospheric split straight through the North Pole? One of the main reasons was all of this hot air moving straight up into the North Pole. It's been a constant flow for the last several weeks. And I could show it to you on another model. Let's just look at our surface temperatures. All of the green, all of the orange and yellow, these are warm temperatures, folks. Way above 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80 degrees. And you can see here where the cold has moved in to the other half of the United States. Now I'm going to show you the top of the Earth again. And this is current, folks. This is right now. So this stratospheric split, it literally came right up through here. And you can see these temperatures right where my cursor is. That's warm air. That's 40 plus degrees. 40 plus degrees. Moving into the North Pole. Right where you see this line split, there's your center of the North Pole. And as that air moved in, it literally split all of the weather system on the North Pole. It split it in two. You can see how massive the spread of this polar vortex and all of this polar air. This is going down through Siberia and Russia and China. And if we spin it around, all of Eastern Europe. And it's sinking even lower. It will continue to sink downward. If we move over to this side of the Earth, The only good thing that we have happening, and it's really not even a good thing, but it is all of the warm air that's being picked up by that jet stream, and it's pushing all of that warm air straight up this way. And it's literally blocking off the sinking polar air coming down after this stratospheric split. You could see it. It's not going to get any better. It's actually going to get worse. If you look down here in the South Pole, well, you don't have any type of split in the weather, as they call a stratospheric split, like what just happened in the North Pole. But you do see a shrinking South Pole, Antarctica. Look at the weather temperatures around here. They're all in the 40s. Look at that. You can just look at it for yourself. We're going to go ahead and jump out of this. I'm going to show you what we're going to expect. Right now, these weather systems, they're just going to keep on getting worse. Now, if you watch the way that the wind is flowing, these are all surface temperatures. Look at this vortex right here. You can see all the colder air moving out of northern Canada and the Arctic. Literally being pulled out and recirculated. This is the area right here that I was referring to, where all of that 40-degree air is flowing directly into the North Pole. You can just see it. If I move this up, this slider, to the jet stream, this is the jet stream, folks. You could hardly see the land masses, for God's sakes. This is what is driving the weather, the crazy weather around the world. It's absolutely insane. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a 3D globe so we can look at the 3D model here. And we'll just bring it right back to the surface. We'll take a look at the North Pole again. And here's another view of it. All of this warm air, do you see it's moving straight up here? It's literally forming almost hurricane-type vortexes. But all of this air, and let's see if we can get a temperature reading on it here. Oh, I can't get it on this globe. That's right. These temperatures here, if you follow my cursor way down here, in the green, we're looking at close to 50 degree. Oh God. Yeah, these are pretty warm. These are 50 plus degree temperatures. You can see how it's being drawn directly across the top of our planet. The North Pole is not used to having 40-degree temperatures blowing into this section of the world. And, folks, real quick, when you see this purple color is very extremely cold. You know, in the minus 20, minus 30. The lighter blue, I mean, we're going to have to get, we'll have to get temperature readings on this. I can't get them on the globe. But let's just pull this up one more time, and we'll try to get a temperature reading on what's happening up here. Oops, that's wind. Let's get temperature. Okay, so this is Greenland. It's in the purple, minus 27 degrees. This is where all of the warm air is rushing up. We'll get all the way up here at the tip. Let's see what the temperature is. 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Above freezing. Let's move down here. Temperature, 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's move over here along the coastlines of Norway and Sweden. 42 degrees going up through the North Atlantic. And this crazy vortex, look at the air. 60 degrees. And this air is pushing up. 43 degrees. And then we move over to the United States. It's like springtime. You know, right where I'm at in Pittsburgh, 59 degrees. Raining like crazy. Let's take a look at the rain. Once again, we just went through a 1,300-mile band of rain that caused all of the flooding over the last couple of days. Look what has appeared once again. We'll let it run out. And you can see right where all of this rain is going to occur again. It's going to continue to saturate all of these states within this region because of the way the jet stream has sunk, and it's just so erratic that it's going to draw all of this hot air straight up this way. Folks, you can see the vortexes of air everywhere. We got a nice storm going right here near Alaska, northern parts of Canada. I mean, look right here. Inch of rain. And that's just falling. That's Saturday. We could move it back a little bit to where we're at right now in real time. They're getting drenched down in Texas again. But this is the area of concern right here, folks. All of this air pushing up along the eastern side of Greenland, all of this hot air is moving straight up into the North Pole. It's going to create a massive amount of damage to our current climate. It's not going to change. Trust me when I tell you, it's not going to change. If you look at the lower part of our planet, the equator, look how hot it is. Yes, of course, the equator is supposed to be warm. But considering, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not in the spring equinox yet, the Earth is still, I believe the Earth is still tilting a little bit more than normal. Over the last 2 weeks, there have been a lot of people that have been charting the moon, and the moon rising into view is not adding up. There have been several people that have posted information. The moon is rising 30, 40, 50 minutes later. How in the hell is that possible? And they're going by the actual set time that the moon should be rising into view. But it's not there. Where the hell is it? Crystal clear night. Where's the moon? Oh, there it is. 40 minutes later. How's that possible? How is it even possible? If you start taking our planet, and we're about right here as far as our tilt. If you pushed our planet back a little bit, 2 or 3 degrees, and maybe off to the side a little bit, what's going to occur? Our jet stream will become very erratic. And as you can see, how far low this part of the jet stream is. Look at it. The jet stream is in blue. Look at it. It's insane. Move down to the Antarctic. Just look at it. I'm kind of curious. I want to see some temperatures. Let's check it out. Let's see what kind of temperatures are brewing down yonder here. Minus 20 degrees. Right here in the Antarctic. But right offshore, 37. Move up just a little bit more. 33. Then you start moving just a little bit closer. All of these little vortexes. That can't be right. There we go. Now it's catching up to itself. 37 degrees right off the coast of the Antarctic. 34 degrees. Let's get into one of these little green patches over here. Way above their normal temperatures, 30 degrees. Let's get all the way down in here. Let's get to some cold temperatures. Minus 22. Okay. Pretty normal. But right off the coast of the Antarctic, 34 degrees, 34 degrees, 39 degrees. Tip of South America, 83 degrees. Could you imagine, folks, being that close, the southern tip of South America, where you can go from minus 22 to 83 in that short distance? That's pretty insane. It's nighttime over in Australia, so their temperatures are a little cooler. But they're well within the over 100 degrees almost in the entire country. Hottest place on the planet. All of that cold air all has moved into all of Eastern Europe. A big push of cold air. Some of the countries they're getting by okay, like parts of France and Spain and Portugal. You know, Dr. Albers, her Her family is from Portugal, and we were talking the other day, and whenever this big cold front moved down into parts of Portugal, especially where her mom lives, they don't have heat. They don't have heaters and furnaces like we do in the United States. So that big cold snap moving into Spain and Portugal was very detrimental to a lot of people's survival. They're not used to those temperatures in the low 20s and low 30s. But today, it's 56 degrees as of right now in Lisbon. You could see all of these warmer temperatures flowing in. 57 degrees. But this is where all of the hot air is coming from, folks. The jet stream's pulling it up right into this sector of the United States, while this portion, this 1/3, is, they're in a battle with this snow and this cold air. It's not going to change either. Just not going to change. It's going to get worse. Mark my words. It's going to get worse. And we just have to hang on. We have to try to keep the information flowing. Protect your social media accounts the best that you can. Take my advice. Get rid of all the Florida stuff off your social media. Just get rid of it. We all know what's happening. It's a shame, but it is what it is. We're going to take a quick look at the sun. I was paying some close attention to some coronal holes that were facing Earth, and this one just doesn't look good. Now, just taking a look at our sun right now in this 48-hour loop on the SDO, 211 angstrom view. You can see once again all of this dark matter, all of this. It's all forming coronal holes. That allows all of these heavily charged particles to have free reign to stream directly from the sun, directly to Earth. You are looking at an Earth view of the sun that's on your screen right now. This will heat up our atmosphere. This also will contribute to crazy weather patterns around the world. At the same time, releasing and penetrating cosmic rays, solar radiation, you name it. It's all coming our way. And this is what I've been talking about for the last 2 years, as well as many others. Learning about it is the key. Having a better understanding of what's happening is where we all need to be. It does take a lot of work, takes a lot of hours and a lot of understanding and a lot of learning. But that's what we're all here to do. You know, we're all here to protect each other. Even though we don't know each other on personal levels like you're my neighbor, but we're still all in this together, each and every one of us. The sun is not getting any better. The sun is actually getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And we're going to be moving closer and closer into this solar minimum. And that's a whole nother story. It's scary. And, something else, folks, they're manipulating these NASA models also. One of them has been down, the SOHO, that's been down since January 25th. They're saying it's down because of maintenance. Well, that's bullshit. Total crap. You know, I don't want to say that we're in a fight for our lives, but it's definitely starting to look like that. You know, people being killed in flash floods, people being killed in landslides, people freezing to death, people having automobile accidents because, excuse me, they're getting stuck in really crazy weather events, massive pileups on highways because people are getting caught off guard. 1 minute, the road just looks like it's wet. 100 feet down the road, it's a sheet of ice. You're not paying attention. The next thing you know, your car starts to slide. You're out of control. You cross the center line. You kill yourself and possibly someone else. These are the reasons why people like me and Dr. Albers and many others want you to have this information. We want you to learn about it. We want you to talk about it. We want you to share it. But we are truly under threat of having all of that taken away. Because we are relying entirely too much on social media and the internet. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? That's all that we have. I can't send you a smoke signal if you live over in Denmark or even in the neighboring state or even the neighboring town. Just doesn't happen that way. Take a quick look at what's happening earthquake-wise, because just by looking at those, all of the mess on the sun right now, I would probably say, most definitely, that we're going to start seeing some earthquakes popping a little bit bigger than normal. You can see California under siege. This section of Mexico, still, once again, a lot of seismic activity. Larger earthquakes. You know, not very damaging, but, you know, normally you see these very, very small earthquakes in California, but they seem to be growing. And you see a lot of activity. There's a lot of activity people are worried about right now, once again, occurring in the Yellowstone region. Right there. I read one report, over 200 seismic events occurring in the Yellowstone region. They're not showing you all of it. Things seem to be pretty quiet over in the Pacific and South Pacific. But that's not going to last, folks. That's not going to last. You see the size of that coronal hole. It's just a complete mess. In the course of the next couple of days, or even the next couple of hours, that's going to affect our planet. And we're definitely going to see more of these quakes. It's kind of an odd quake right up here. Arkansas, magnitude 2.72. Another small one, real tiny, really nothing to talk about there. But it doesn't look like it's getting too much better, folks. Looks like it's getting worse. So keep your eyes and your ears wide open, ladies and gentlemen. And for the next 30 days, you can get a hold of me right on Planet X News. Just inbox me, message me right there. I've posted my backup account for my personal Facebook page. And that's about all we can do, folks. Take my advice. Get rid of all that Florida junk on your Facebook pages. because they'll be coming after you. It's sad. And that's what we're faced with. The wolves have arrived in sheep's clothing. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. They're coming after you. But we're going to stay steadfast. We're not going anywhere. Also, real quick, folks, I'm going to flip over. Oops, I can't do that. I'll flip over here to the Planet X News website. Again, folks, main source of information here. You know, I'm constantly creating and posting articles of what's happening. And this is some of the flooding that's occurred in Michigan, in Ohio, and Pennsylvania. A lot of information pertaining to what's happening in the Arctic, the North Pole. I've posted in the last couple of days. I'm also sharing some other YouTube channels that are putting up really good reports, like BP Earthwatch and Mr. MBB333. I'm able to embed their videos and posts into our website so you can view them. And this was a state of emergency right here that was declared up in Toronto. I mean, this was just insane, the amount of flooding. This was in Brant, Ontario. I mean, you guys, this is fresh, a couple of days old, and it's still happening. Still happening. Huge storm that ripped through New Zealand. More widespread flooding. All of this information is always available right on the Planet X News website. So make sure you have that bookmarked, and you can set yourself up right here by hitting subscribe, typing in your email address, and you will get notifications in your email. And that way, you don't miss it. And when you have time, you can access it and you can read about it. You can keep yourself informed. That's one of the main reasons why I put that subscribe button in there. You also have access to our YouTube channels, Planet X News, and Dr. Albers' YouTube channel, also our online store. You know, we've been getting a very, very big turnout and a big response on the Planet X News online store. I've been wearing, my hoodie and my t-shirts just about every day, everywhere I go. First thing that somebody says, hey, what's that Planet X News? Hey, where'd you get that shirt? What's Planet X News? And it allows me to open up that door, open up that level of conversation. It allows me to have a conversation piece. So someone looks at it, and it allows me to just start talking to them. Had a couple of new designs here that we threw in there. For some of you, you won't need the hoodie because the temperatures are too warm. You probably just need the t-shirt. There's coffee cups in there if you want one. There's hoodies, there's shirts. There's cuts of shirts for women, for kids. Whatever you want. It's all right here on the Planet X News online store. Check it out. The links are always in the description box on our YouTube channel. And I'll go ahead and post another link for this just in case. Let me see here. I posted it right now in the live chat for all of you that are interested. If you want to bookmark it, keep it on hand, whatever you want to do, it's all greatly appreciated. But folks, real quick before we end, please do yourself a favor. Get rid of the crap about Florida on your Facebook pages. Don't jeopardize your social media account. It seems like now everything is in jeopardy. Weather, government, social media, the internet, our food supply, everything. It's like the world's going crazy. I kind of knew that it would unfold this way. I wish there was something that I could do other than what I am doing now. So I guess we've all learned a lesson from the powers that be within social media, that when we see and experience a false flag event, don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Don't get involved. That's what they're saying to us by suspending and terminating accounts. They're throwing their weight around. Punishment. Punishment from a social media corporation. It's pretty laughable. It's also pretty scary that they have that much power to silence the world. They may think that they've silenced me for 30 days, but they only silenced me for 1 hour. Because I knew it would occur, and I had a backup plan, and that's why you're hearing my voice right now. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, be very safe out there. Pay very, very close attention to your weather. Keep yourself up to date and keep yourself informed. And one thing before I end and get out of here and get out into the rain, I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for standing behind me, standing up for me, for being here and being a part of all of this. Because this is truly what it is all about. It is about unity. It is about banding together and never, ever letting anyone take us down. Our rights and our freedoms are in jeopardy. And sooner or later, this is going to cause major, major upheavals in this country and many others. Let's just hope it doesn't come to that. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you being here with me this morning. And Dr. Albers also thanks you very, very much from the bottom of her heart. But please, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there. Keep yourself in tune with everything that's going on. First and foremost, make sure you all stay connected with Planet X News. Take care, folks. Be safe.